CONCACAF Nations League semifinals. We meet once again. And hopefully the US men's national team makes it to the final and wins the tournament for the third consecutive time. The United States will once again get together this March for the Nations League knockout rounds, facing the fake news Jamaicans for the semifinals. And if the US men's national team wins, they will face Mexico or Panama in the final. So today, let's try to predict what Baldman would do, or what he will do. What roster will he bring? Hi, if you're new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to our 2023-2024 CONCACAF Nations League semifinals and final roster prediction video. And before we start, here's some information that you must know. Berhalter must bring a 23-man roster for the Nations League, and the roster must include 3 goalkeepers. So could he bring more players? Sure, but they wouldn't be able to register all of them. So for the sake of this video, we're just going to go with 23 players. And as I said, he could bring 24, 25 into camp, but he can only register 23. So we're going with 23. Keep in mind that Serginho Dest is suspended for the semifinals match due to that silly red card that he got against Trinidad and Tobago, but he will be available for an eventual final if we make it. So I expect him to be in the roster, but we'll talk about it in the fullback section. With that said, as I always said, I don't know what Berhalter will do. You don't know what Berhalter will do. Berhalter doesn't know what Berhalter will do. Nobody knows what Berhalter will do. However, we can make many assumptions and pretty much get like 90% of this roster right based on previous selections that Berhalter did, players form, but I'm sure we're going to get 1 or 2 wrong. This is also the second most important roster of 2024 for the United States men's national team. The most important one will be in June when we call up the Copa America one. But this one is extremely important, and we do need to win this trophy. It'll be played in the United States, so there's no excuses for not winning this. And this video is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. The link for them is on the description, but more on that later. Shall we begin? Okay, this video is going to be actually a little bit different. We're going to start with the goalkeepers, but I didn't really script this one. I'm just going to word vomit on camera, and hopefully I make sense. I'm usually pretty good at that. But anyhow, drop a like in the video and let's talk about the goalkeepers. So I believe Gregg Berhalter will bring 3 goalkeepers because he has to bring 3 goalkeepers. And 2 of them I think are kind of locks. One of them is Matt Turner. I still think he's our locked-in starter for Gregg Berhalter. So Turner from Nottingham Forest will be there, despite the fact that he has been benched for the Premier League side. Ethan Horvath has found a new club, Cardiff, in the EFL Championship, but he hasn't played for them yet at the time of this recording. However, he wasn't playing before, and Berhalter still brought him in multiple times. Now, the third goalkeeper, I don't know, man. Flip a coin, whoever you want it to be. Drake Callender, Gaga Slonina. I don't know. I don't care. I don't think he'll play. So I'm just going to say that he's going to bring Drake Callender. Okay, so it's going to be Turner, Horvath, and Drake Callender. Next up, we have the fullbacks. And I think he will bring 4 fullbacks. And to me, 3 of them are locks. Serginho Dest, even though he is suspended for the first game, there have been multiple reports saying that Berhalter will bring him into camp. So Dest will be there. Dest, the fullback from PSV. Joe Scally will most certainly be there, the fullback from Borussia Mönchengladbach that can also play as a center back if needed. He has played as a center back in the Bundesliga. The other one is A-Rob, Anthony Robinson, that plays for Fulham in the Premier League. He's been among one of the best left backs in the Premier League. He's been extremely consistent for them this season. He is our best left back, and he will be in this roster as long as he's healthy. And at the time of this recording, he is healthy. Now, number 4, Gregg Berhalter has teased us Shaq Moore, probably the worst performer the U.S. men's national team had in the 2022 World Cup. Actually, one of the worst performers I have ever gotten the U.S. men's national team to watch in a World Cup, along with probably Jesus Ferreira. But he has teased that Shaq Moore could be there. Hopefully not, but I'm just giving you what Berhalter said. Other names could be, I don't know, Dejuan Jones, John Token, Christopher Lund. And based on previous call-ups, Christopher Lund is my bet based on that. He also looked fairly competent in camp when he was there with the U.S. men's national team. So I'm going to say Berhalter will bring Scally, Dest, A-Rob, and Christopher Lund that plays for Palermo in the Italian 2nd Division. And Lund is a left back, by the way. With that said, let's still stay on defense for a little bit more and talk about the center backs that I think Berhalter will bring to the Nations League. And to me, this one has 3 locks, and they are Tim Ream from Fulham, Chris Richards from Crystal Palace, and Miles Robinson from FC Cincinnati. Now, look, don't hate on me, or hate on me if you want to. I've gotten to a point where I don't really care anymore. I wouldn't bring Miles Robinson. I'm not saying I would bring Miles Robinson. I'm saying I think Berhalter is going to bring Miles Robinson. So if you want to do it, just go hate on Berhalter in the comment section, even though it's also unfair to hate on Berhalter, because maybe he won't do that, but I think he will bring Miles. And MLS season will have started by then, which it starts in February, so Miles will probably be there. But who is the 4th center back? Is it John Brooks? Absolutely freaking not. Is it Cameron Carter-Vickers? Possibly. Gregg Berhalter does rate him, but at the time of this recording, he is injured, and he's expected to be back early March. The United States doesn't really play till late March, but that means Carter-Vickers is questionable. So I guess it's between Carter-Vickers, Austin Trusty from Sheffield United, maybe Mark McKenzie from Genk, maybe Walker Zimmerman, even though Berhalter hasn't called in Walker Zimmerman back. I also know that Leonard Maloney can't play as a center back, but I doubt Gregg Berhalter would bring him as a center back because he's playing as a 6 in the Bundesliga. So I'm going to put it this way. If Carter-Vickers is back late February, early March, I think he makes the roster with Ream, Richards, and obviously Miles Robinson, as I said. But if Carter-Vickers is still injured, I don't know, in the 1st or 2nd week of March, I think the next option in line is not Zimmerman. It's actually Austin Trusty from Sheffield United. So we're going to go with Cameron Carter-Vickers for the sake of this video. But if he's not fully fit, it's going to be Austin Trusty. And again, this is a prediction video. And prediction is just, I guess, a fancier way of saying, I don't know, guessing. With that said, let's hear it from our sponsor, Underdog Fantasy. Their link is on the description. I've been playing a lot, and hopefully soon I'll be doing a live stream where I actually play Underdog Fantasy with you. A quick word from our sponsor, drop a like in the meantime, and we'll be back in 1 minute. And thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for sponsoring Tactical Manager TV. Underdog Fantasy is a fun game to play prior to any soccer match, or basketball, or football as well, but we don't talk about those two in Tactical Manager TV. Sometimes basketball during live watch-alongs. I have been playing Underdog Fantasy for over a year now. You can download the app by using the link on the description of this video, and you can also use the promo code TMTV. And Underdog will be matching your first deposit for up to $100. And in the process, you'll be helping the channel avoid bankruptcy. The game I mainly play is called Pick'em. You just click on it, scroll to the soccer section, and pick a player for a specific match and select the stats that you believe will be lower or higher. It's very easy to play, but be smart about your picks because it's not easy to win. I'll be playing some Underdog Fantasy during some match live streams or match live watch-alongs, so stay tuned for that, as I will be forced to cheer for a player or root against him. Now, I am a professional hater, so I'll probably be rooting for the player's downfall. Once again, don't forget to use the promo code TMTV and use the link on the description of this video. Thank you, Underdog Fantasy, for sponsoring the channel. Now let's go to the midfielders, and I think Berhalter will bring 6 midfielders, and to me this was the easiest section of this video because these are the 6 that I believe he'll bring. Weston McKennie from Juventus, Yunus Musa from AC Milan, Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis, Gio Reyna from Nottingham Forest, Malik Tillman from PSV, and Luca de la Torre from Celta de Vigo. Obviously, assuming all 6 of these players are healthy by the time he calls up the roster. And understand, Tyler Adams hasn't played in almost a year now, and he's expected to be back soon, but even if he's back in March, I don't think Gregg would bring Tyler back now. And we don't know if Tyler will be back in March anyway. So I'm assuming Tyler Adams is out. Otherwise, he probably would have been a lock in Gregg Berhalter's roster. And then outside of that, who else do we got? Maloney, Tanner Tessman, Aiden Morris. These guys are not going to make it over the ones I listed. So once again, it's McKennie, Musa, Johnny, Gio, Malik Tillman, and then Luca de la Torre. Then when Tyler comes back, here's a good question for you. Let's say Tyler comes back and he's playing at the same level he was playing for Leeds. Who of these 6 players will get cut. Now we have the wingers, and this is an interesting one because in a Gregg Berhalter roster right now in 2024, in March of 2024, there are 3 players that to me, if they're healthy, Berhalter will not leave them out of the roster. Pulisic, Weah, and Brenden Aaronson. Pulisic and Weah should not be left out of the roster. Brenden Aaronson, that's debatable. He's been in poor form for like 18 months or so. I probably would not have Brenden Aaronson in this roster right now. I have other options like Paredes, even Haji Wright that's been playing well, and Taylor Booth. But anyhow, Berhalter will bring those 3 if they're healthy. Pulisic, Weah, and Aaronson. And he's probably going to bring 4 wingers. So who will be winger number 4? So let's go through the other options. It could be Zendejas from Club America, maybe Kevin Paredes that Berhalter did call him up in the last semester around September, October, November. I can't remember which camps, and he's been playing well for Wolfsburg in the Bundesliga for the most part. Taylor Booth from Utrecht in the Eredivisie has been on a rise lately, but it seems like he's seen more as an Olympic team player rather than the senior team. And then you also have Haji Wright that has been very good for Coventry as a winger in the championship with 10 goals and 5 assists in the second division of England. And Berhalter did call up Haji Wright last minute for the World Cup, which is a bit weird, so it wouldn't really surprise me if he just randomly brought Haji Wright back. He's also Pulisic's friend during the Nations League. With that said, I'm gonna, make my pick here and say that I think Berhalter will bring Haji Wright. I think it's gonna be Pulisic, Weah, Aaronson, and Haji Wright as an option for the wing and center forward position. Even the game I watched from Coventry the past 2 weeks, when they try Haji Wright as a center forward, he doesn't really play well. But when Coventry puts him on the wing, more specifically the left wing, he's played well. Of course, it's the second division of England, so take it with a grain of salt. And Sargent has been playing well there and all that. But I think Berhalter will bring Haji. So Pulisic, Weah, Aaronson, and Haji Wright. He'll be the surprise inclusion, just like he was for the World Cup. And then he scored one of the most bizarre World Cup goals I have ever seen in my entire life. The one he scored against the Dutch. Last but not least, we have the center forwards. And essentially, I could go on and list all the possible center forwards like Jesus Ferreira, Brendan Vasquez, Pifok, that's actually injured at the time of this recording. But I'm just going to talk about the 3 that are the real options. And Berhalter will probably bring 2 center forwards. And the options are clear. It's Balogun, Pepe, and Sargent. Based off form, Sargent is number 1. Now, he does play in the second division of England, but he's been scoring consistently. He's been playing well there, and he's a very well-rounded center forward. And then the other option is Balogun. That is probably also the most talented center forward we have. I still think Balogun's the number 1 option, still the best player we have. He's just in horrendous form. Balogun has been terrible for Monaco for at least 2 months, maybe 3. Then you got Ricardo Pepi. That hasn't been terrible for PSV by any means. He's just not playing much behind Luc de Jong in the Eredivisie and even in the Champions League in general. So out of these 3, who do I think Gregg will bring? Now, he didn't bring Sargent ever since he returned because Sargent was injured. So it's very hard to determine who he will bring. I think Gregg will bring Balogun and Ricardo Pepi. I think he's going to keep those 2 because those are the ones he brought on previous camps. But Gregg does really like Josh Sargent, so it's a tough one. I would say it's 40% for Balogun, 40% for Pepi, and 20% for Sargent. I don't think there's any other option. I'm going to go with Balogun and Pepi. You can let me know in the comment section what you think. And who would you bring of those 3? You can only bring 2 of those 3. Who would you pick? Balogun, Sargent, or Pepi? 2 of those 3. I would probably go right now with Balogun and Sargent. I could explain it in another video or maybe a quick explanation here. I just think they complement each other. I think Pepi has been great for the US men's national team and he deserves to be there. Maybe I would cut Haji Wright and have actually 3 center forwards, Pepi, Sargent, and Balogun. But if it was up to me just to choose 2, I'd probably go with Sargent and Balogun right now at the time of this recording. But it kind of sucks because I really want Pepi there and I think he's important for the system that Berhalter loves to whip in crosses. He's probably the best poacher we have. With that said, everyone, drop a like in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.